Hello everyone. Today I'm going to talk to you about saving seeds. So here are some of the basic rules for saving seeds. Seeds saved from open pollinated plants will produce identical plants. If you save seeds from hybrid plants, you don't really know what those plants are going to look like once you replant those seeds. So heirloom seeds are all open pollinated, so those are very good plants to save seeds from. And you also want to make sure that the seeds you plant do not cross-pollinate. Because if they cross-pollinate and then you try to save the seeds, you may not get an identical plant when you replant those seeds that you saved. Seeds cannot be harvested until they are mature, and each plant has a different rate at which the seeds will reach full maturity. You must wait to get seeds from ripened plants. There are different methods to harvesting seeds depending on the plant species as well. So what should you grow? Once again, open pollinated are the most beginner friendly as they will be identical to the parent plant or the plant that you originally got the seeds from. The easiest plants to start saving seeds are peas, beans, lettuce, and tomatoes. Now, in order to reduce the possibility of cross-pollination, you need to find out how much space to put between different plants in your garden. Some plants need a little extra space, like peas and lettuce, but others need a much larger distance. And I will show you later, there are seed-saving guides available that will tell you, depending on what plant you are using, the distance that you would need to keep it separated from other plants. So when are your seeds going to be ready to save? For most juicy fruits, the seeds may not be mature when the fruit is ripe and ready to eat. So it's always good to leave a few fruits in your garden to fully mature before you harvest them. Once again, there's a ton of information online that will tell you, depending on what plant, what species you have, when is the right time to start harvesting your seeds. For dry fruits, once the seeds are dry and hard, you can start harvesting them. So those include things like grains and lettuce and beans. For dry fruit crops, you can pick seeds right off of the fruit, and then you would just gently clean them and dry them. For wet fruit crops, once the seeds reach maturity, the seeds need to be taken from the flesh and the pulp of the fruit. Then they would also need to be cleaned and dried. Make sure that you dry your seeds completely. Clean them, rinse them off, and spread them out on a surface. You don't want to put them all in a clump. You want them to dry evenly and not stick to one another, so make sure you give them a lot of space. You may need to let them dry for a few days. Make sure that you dry them in a cool place, because if you dry them in a warm place or a place that gets a lot of sunlight or hot temperatures, it may kill your seeds. If your seeds start to sprout, then that means that it was too warm, the moisture was too great, and you will need to start over. Your seeds are ready to store when they are brittle and hard but not dried out. The best way to store your seeds is in a cool, dark, and dry place. You can also put your dried seeds in airtight containers and store them in the fridge or freezer. Some seeds can last for years, while others don't last nearly as long. I believe carrot seeds are a type of seed that really does not last very long. But there are some seeds that you can put in the fridge or freeze, and it would extend the time that they're viable. Sometimes seeds can be in the freezer for a few years before they start to expire. All of this information and more can be found on our seed library website, which is lanepl.org/seed. And if you go to our main website under research, you would just click Lane Seed Library at the bottom. If you scroll all the way down, it gives you these seed saving resources. The Seed Savers Exchange is a really helpful website, and this is going to have a chart that'll tell you a lot of information on how to save your seeds based on what you've planted. So if we scroll down to seed saving here, you can click on any of these articles, but let me show you how to get to the chart. You're going to click on the seed saving chart. And this chart is going to include your crops, the species, the family, the life cycle, primary pollination method, which includes if it's usually cross-pollinated due to wind or insects, things like that. It also gives you a recommended isolation distance for seed saving. So this will make sure that you plant your seeds far enough away that they do not cross-pollinate. That way, when you harvest the seeds from your plant, you can use them next year and get the identical plant that you wanted. It also gives you the number of viable seeds, which is the number of plants that are needed for a crop to produce viable seeds, variety maintenance, and it also gives you genetic preservation. So we are going to click on this magenta button, download the chart. And this chart breaks down everything into those categories. So for example, if you wanted to harvest seeds from an asparagus, you would need to isolate your asparagus 800 feet to half a mile away from your other plants that are different, just to make sure that there's no chance of cross-pollination. That way you can harvest the seeds and you know that next year when you plant those seeds, you are going to be getting that same type of asparagus. So this is a very helpful guide if you are really interested into seed saving. You are more than welcome to donate any seeds that you do happen to harvest to any of the Lane Library's locations to our seed library. And if you have any questions, you can always come in and talk to us about our seed library, and a staff member will be happy to assist you.